Today I'm making refried beans from dried beans, and I'm gonna grab some dried beans and I'm gonna guesstimate about a cup of dried beans per scoop. I usually use about 3 scoops here, but I'm going to sort my beans. Basically, I'm gonna pick through each bean, check for any chipped beans, any ones that look super dried up, any rocks or miscellaneous material that tends to be in the bag. So I put onion and bell pepper and jalapeno, garlic, salt in my beans, and I'm gonna go ahead and sort through the beans. But when I boil the beans, I just add a little bit of salt just to kind of cut some of the little bitterness that tends to be in there. And if you are gassy with your beans, you can put a pinch of baking soda. Now that they're all picked through, I'm gonna wash them thoroughly under cold water and then put them in some water in the pot. They've been boiling for some time and now they have gotten soft to the touch, and I can go ahead and get my pan ready for the frying process. So here I'm heating up the pan and adding some oil to the pan. Normally I would put enough oil to cover the bottom of the pan completely before tossing in my onions. The onions I usually let simmer until they get a little brown around the edges, but you don't want to overcook the onions. You don't want them to burn, but that you want to get that nice little flavor from the little browned edges. I'm gonna add some salt. I'm gonna add a little bit of white pepper, a little bit of cumin, that garlic. I'm gonna slice up a jalapeno. I do like a little bit of heat in my refried beans. You can omit the heat, but I'm gonna slice up some of the jalapeno, about half, and saute that in with the onions. I do add a little bit more oil in because I didn't put enough at the very beginning. And I'm gonna go ahead and proceed to add the beans. And I'm gonna use just the beans. I'm gonna save the juice. So I'm gonna ladle out a few scoops of the beans. I'm gonna get most of what I used in the pot, scoop them all out, and I'm gonna saute them together with the onion and the peppers. Now I'm gonna let them simmer and let the beans all come up to temperature. I'm gonna add a little bit of granulated onion, garlic, a little bit of seasoning salt, some cumin, and some chili powder. I do like that additional flavor in my beans. Gonna mix it in, give it a little stir, and then I'm gonna add some of that reserved water from the boiled beans. This will actually give it a nice creamy consistency when I get to mashing. So I'm gonna mash the beans. I prefer to mash the beans with a potato masher versus using a handheld blender because it gets a little too creamy and I like some texture in my beans. And while I'm mashing, if I want the beans to be a little bit more creamy consistency, I'm just gonna ladle in some more reserved water. I'm going to continue to mash, If you're mashing and it appears to look a little dry, then you would just add a little bit more reserved water. And I'm going to go ahead and add some type of cheese, whether it's Monterey Jack, you can add pepper jack, Colby, you can also use vegan plant-based cheese, which I like that creamy plant-based cheese in my beans. I'm going to mix that up, make sure it's all creamy and combined. I'm going to taste it while I go. I can add whatever I'd like to at this point, and everything is good, then I can go ahead and move to the next step, which would be plating. Here, instead of making such a big meal, I'm going to actually transfer the beans into a tin and have it served with the rest of my meal. And there you go. We've got refried beans. Hope you try it for yourself. Enjoy.